Welcome to BossUp Babes, helping babes show up, boss up, and thrive. With #1 best-selling author, global influencer, and ultimate boss babe, Karissa Adkins. Karissa is a health and wellness expert and CEO of the 365 Daily Hustle, here to help mompreneurs and career-focused women boss up and reclaim their healthiest life. She is a pro at cutting through the BS and inspiring massive breakthroughs that help women create healthy routines and habits that facilitate personal and professional growth. Are you ready to reclaim your best life, take action, and be a badass boss babe? Let's get to it.
What up, queens? How are you doing today? Welcome to another awesome episode of BossUp Babes. I am your host, Karissa Adkins, the #1 mindset and women's health expert. And on today's BossUp Babes podcast show, we are going to follow one boss babe's journey. We're just going to go back a few years to when she was living the high life as that badass executive level HR professional. And now we are going to learn about how she has stepped out of the fear and into her passion, how she's living life on her terms, 100% authentically. And this queen is the next superstar for HGTV. So look out, you guys, I'm calling it right now. Like, let's just say that I interviewed her on today's show so that when she's big and famous, she'll remember like the podcast that all started it all. So anyways, you guys, I'm super excited, to bring her on here in a minute. But first, a little mini life update. So if you guys are following me, you know that I've been like sharing stories and posts about how I had surgery. Last Thursday, I had surgery. It was supposed to be Friday. They moved me up a day. And I'm really learning how to honor my body by living in the stillness, right? Like as a hustler, as an A-type personality, like as a go, go, go girl, right? Like it's really hard for me to just sit and just honor my body and everything that it's trying to do. So what I mean by that is, of course, the doctor, I'm laying there. Let me just back up a little bit the story. So I'm laying there and I go in the day of and they strap me in, they get the IV in, and they're like, we're actually not going to do any blood work because you're so freaking healthy. And I was like, what? Like, this just doesn't even make sense. Like everyone's been telling me I'm going to have to get blood work done and all these tests right before we go into the OR. And he's like, yeah, but really on paper, Karissa, like you're super healthy. I'm not worried about it. Like you're in great shape, blah, blah, blah. And the reason why I bring this up is because had I had to have this surgery 10 years ago, that would not have been the case, right? It definitely would not have been the case. They would have had to run all the blood work, all the paneling. They would have probably asked me to stop smoking a couple of days before. They would have wanted me to get off all of the antidepressants, like all of these things. So my life has changed drastically, right? Like I truly believe that I went through what I had to go through, my rock bottom health journey many, many years ago, but it's allowing me to just like thrive today. Like every single day, I'm like, oh yeah, if I didn't have my health, this would have been a problem. So kind of fast forward on how I'm honoring my body. And maybe if you're going through something like this too, these tips will help you. So honoring your body while it's healing after surgery is important, right? Because it helps to ensure that your body is able to heal properly and efficiently. When you honor your body, you're giving it time and the rest that it needs to heal and recover, as well as providing it with all the proper nutrition and hydration. Okay. This allows your body to heal faster and can help prevent complications down the road. Now, if you could see my calendar in April, it looks insane. I mean, I'm going to the Grand Canyon to hike the rim to rim with my coach. I then turn around and go to Vegas for an amazing upscale luxury photo shoot, a speaking event in front of hundreds of women. And then I turn around 3 days later, I'm going to Spain. So I now more than ever need to just sit and let my body like heal and do its thing, right? Because if I try and hustle through how I'm feeling today, like for like the immediate satisfaction of like getting up and getting back to my lifestyle, I may not be able to function in a couple of weeks. So here are 3 quick tips, you guys, to like, if you're going through something like this, and even if you're not, and maybe you have something on the books, maybe these 3 tips can help you to get your body back, right? So #1 is get plenty of rest. Make sure you're getting tons and tons of sleep. Like literally, I'm sleeping like a baby. I'm taking naps during the day. I'm just honoring my body. Like when I'm feeling tired, I go lay down. Okay. Number two is I'm making sure that I eat nourishing foods. I am not eating fast food junk. I'm not eating processed foods. In fact, I'm personally doing like a specific juice every day. It's like a detox for my liver because I want all the medication, like I want all the bad stuff out of my body. So I'm doing tons of juicing right now. Really getting all those nutrients in. And then the third thing is that I stay hydrated. I cannot express this more. The doctor was like, make sure you drink like 100 ounces of water. I'm like, oh, that ain't no thing, right? Like I drink a gallon a day, but thank God I built that habit up. Otherwise I'd be like, oh, I'm still so sore. So yeah, there you have it. That's kind of like a little mini life update and how you can honor your body too. Whew. All right, I'm going to honor my body and bring on my guests now because I need a little mini break. So really quick, I want to tell you a little bit about my amazing guest. Today, I've brought to you a special guest. Her name is Jodi. She is the CEO and founder of that's a hard word for me to say. Authentic. Okay, she is an authentic. I'm not even going to say it anymore. Okay, I'm going to let her say it. It's a design store, right? A few words that describe Jodi are authentic. I can say that one. Courageous, caring, positive, and hustle. Now, for 20 years, this queen hustled in the HR industry. Her role as the HR became her identity and found herself putting her career ahead of everything else. Sounds like a lot of women I know. She worked extremely hard to get into the position that she was at as VP of HR. But the last couple of years in the HR career, she started noticing that the passion was just gone, right? We've all been there if we've been in this like soul-sucking job for a long time, and all of a sudden the passion isn't there, the drive isn't there, the hustle isn't there. So there she was, right? She was upcycling furniture on the side. And then one day she said, screw it all. I'm going to go and leave my amazing gig and I'm going to go and follow my passion. And I cannot wait to share and let Jodi share her story. So with that, Jodi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Karissa.
Yes. And could you just please tell me the business name? Because I could not, for the love of God, get that word out today.
Yes, Authentically Yours Design.
Authentically yours. Why couldn't I get you out? Oh, I'm gonna blame it on the Percocet. Just kidding. Just kidding. But anyways, Jodi, it's an honor to have you in this space, in this community, because when I heard your story, I knew that so many women are kind of struggling with this too, right? We find our identity, we create our who we are with what we do from 9 to 5, right? And we kind of lose ourselves in the process sometimes. So I am curious, like wherever you want to start with your journey, tell us about a time in your life where you had to boss up and make some courageous moves.
Yep. So yes. So like you said, HR was totally who I was. It was 100% my identity. When I first introduced myself as, hi, I'm Jodi and I'm in HR. And I work, and that's how I explain to people. And I put everything on hold for my job. I traveled a lot. But like you said, I just kind of got tired of it one day. And my poor husband, we'd only been married for 6 months. And he knew that I was kind of frustrated with my job. But one day, one of my leaders and I had a conversation and I just couldn't do it anymore. It was questioning my integrity. And that was something that's very true of who I am. And so I quit on the spot. And so when you talk about bossing up, I left a high profile job, nicely compensated, had the clout. Everybody kind of was envious of that role. I could kind of do whatever I wanted, with financials, travel, all that kind of stuff. And I decided I was going to start doing furniture. So I text my husband and I'm like, hey, by the way, I just quit my job. he's like, okay. And if you knew Dave, he is very relaxed. I'm a type A and he's not, and that's probably good because we drive each other crazy. But he supported me. A lot of people, I would say, didn't understand where I was on my journey and thought I was going a little crazy and that I was having a midlife crisis. And so I would say that in that aspect, I had to boss up because I had to follow what I believed in, even though I was having a ton of naysayers and a lot of people that were not supportive. There was a handful, but not a lot. They all thought I was just seriously like lost my mind. And so I just stayed true to what I believed, and I knew that I have the hustle that I could make it work. And that's kind of where our journey is right now. We've been doing it for about 2.5 years. So
I love that. I love that. And thank you for sharing, that the little bit of that story, because it does take it takes courageous action to just kind of share that story. I can remember when I got so clear when I needed to leave my HR and marketing career, and I did very similar, right? I feel like women who are just bosses, we got to put it out there, and then we'll take whatever comes our way after that. But I was at a conference in Texas. And I had just been walked through like a whole coaching sequence. It's called the yesing sequence. And I do it with my own clients too sometimes, but it's kind of like when you're stuck between a decision, right? Like I loved my corporate job and I loved helping women, right? Like live their best life. And I remember doing this whole sequence, and I finally got such clarity that I sent the text. First, it went to my husband, and I was like, hey, FYI, when I get back, I'm totally putting in my 2 weeks in. And yeah, he was like, oh my God, I think we should talk about this. So that was kind of like the pump the brakes first. But I remember all the haters and like them saying, well, what are you going to do for money? And what are you going to do for like this? And like, aren't you scared of that? And looking back now, I remember thinking, like, looking back now, I know that their intention was out of love, right? Because some people just don't get that type of leap, right? They're like, oh, don't do anything crazy, like stay in the comfort zone. But I remember them. I remember several people, and a lot of them were family members that were just questioning. And I was like, listen, I don't need your permission. I'm a big ass girl, right? Like, I just need your support. If you can't have it, I don't need it right now. Like, can't give it. So
and I wasn't really a risk taker in the first place. So that was completely abnormal for me to do something like that, like completely abnormal. And then the last few years, we also sold our dream home to make our dream and our passion of our career continue. We sold the big house that we had and moved into a smaller home that needs a lot of fixing up. Once again, people thought we were crazy and was asking us if we were okay, and like, I think if we need to go for counseling, but but we said, no, we're totally good. This is our choice. We could stay in this beautiful home, but we'd have to go back and work for a corporation, and that's not what we want to do anymore. So we said, nope, we're selling our home. So
yeah. What would you say some of the hardest things have been while you've been on this entrepreneurial journey with your husband too, by the way?
Yes. Yeah. So me and Dave work together 24/7. And so we're together a lot. But I would say that's not hard. We get along very well, which is great. Our relationships actually got stronger, I think, because of that. So very blessed to have him. But some of the challenges is that all of a sudden we didn't know anything. I mean, I was in HR for 20 years, right? So I've had to learn social media, which I still am not a huge fan of some of it, and then marketing, sales, figure out how to develop my own website, accounting, finance. We wear every hat. Yeah. And trying to get that all in. So that's a big challenge. And then work-life balance. We don't have one right now. It's just work.
Thanks for being real.
I'm pretty sure I probably have drywall on my hands if I showed you right now, because we're fixing up a house. And so I did get ready a little bit, but I'm sure I have drywall, but we just don't have a balance right now. And we're okay with that. We know that this is part of the journey and that there will be time maybe for a little bit more rest here soon. So that's been a challenge. I would say friendships and family has been just a challenge. Like you said, I know that everybody has, it's the best in their intention in their heart, but we've changed. We've changed a lot the last couple of years. And so that's been hard. And so some friendships I've lost, some have just kind of changed, some have, reignited or have started up, but people are very, very important to me, and the connections with people. So that would probably be my biggest challenge I would say that I've had.
Yeah. So like, what advice would you give a woman who's kind of going through that same thing where she doesn't have this sense of balance right now? She's in like the straight up hustle mode, which I can appreciate. And she's starting to shed, the friends, right? Because it's not that they're not they're good people, but as you're leveling up, some people just don't get that. So what kind of advice would you give a woman who, is kind of feeling the same, kind of feeling lonely with losing her friends, feeling like there's no balance in her life right now? What advice would you give her?
I'd say continue to be authentic to who you are, right? So remember why you started it. Remember why you're doing it. I have to go back to that a lot. I read a ton. I read a ton about like self-development and personal development. Um, that's what my pleasure reading is. Everybody's like, don't you like to read other kind of books? I'm like, that is what I like to read. I'm like, that is what I like to read, you know? So I read constantly, always trying to level up just my mind. I have coaches, like I have you, and I think that helps to be around other people that are on a similar journey that understand it. So surround yourself with different kinds of people. So I think those are big ones. I mean, you got to figure out why you're doing it and make sure you're having fun still. Like you got to have fun. You can't just work all the time. Like I'm working out this house, flipping it, and I'm dancing around to Footloose, right? I mean, gotta have. My husband's like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "But this is who I am. I gotta have fun with this." So don't take yourself too seriously, you know?
I love that. Lady, she just dropped you like 4 or 5 tips and strategies to really help you with that. So let me recap what she just beautifully said, right? A, you got to know your why. Why are you doing it? Why did she jump ship from comfy, cozy corporate job to like living life on the edge with no balance right now? And, you know, all of the hardship that comes with starting up a new business, learning everything, wearing all the different hats. And she's just not like learning it. She's like actually in it. Y'all, I've been following this chick on YouTube and her reels right now. She's got these tool belts on. Like it's crazy. It's fun to watch her journey as she's figuring out all of these things. So you have to know your why. You have to remember your why. She also then said personal development. So she will, I would say then, Jodi, how many hours out of the week do you suppose that you read on personal development and learning?
So every morning I do the miracle morning. So like I read and I scribe and stuff and journal. And so I'd say probably 45 minutes every day. Some days it might be more, some days it might be less. Yeah. And then I mean, I try not to take tons of time, but a little bit, and it gets my morning started off right.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's reading, you guys, she's journaling, she's doing a lot of self-reflection. I too am a personal development junkie. I remember my very first book that it was given to me by my very first mentor, Madeline Moyer, out of Security National Bank there in Omaha, Nebraska. She said, Karissa, what kind of books do you like to read? And I was like, I don't like to read, girl. Like, I was like, the last book I read was like, I think a freshman of Mice and Men, you know, I'm like, and that was mandatory. And she gave me my very first like HR leadership book. And I remember reading it in the bathtub because that was the only time that I had left at the end of the night. And I freaking loved it. And I realized, I was like, I actually just love personal development books.
Mhm.
I actually cannot stand sci-fi and fiction because I'm just like, who's got time for that? I just want to learn. I want to learn. So that was tip number 2. She then said, you know, level up by hiring coaches, right? I know I'm not her first coach. I won't be her last coach, that's for sure. But what golden nuggets would you say if someone's looking for a coach? What would be like, yes, if you find this type of coach, go after her?
I think it has to be the right fit for both people. So the energy, so you and I have already talked about, we're both type A and a little bit hyper. And so I think I know, crazy, right? Just a tiny bit. And so I think that's something, but I am looking for someone that is above me in the knowledge base that can continue to push me and keep me accountable. I don't want someone that, I want someone to challenge me, I should say. Like, don't say, oh, Jodi, that's a great idea. No, like, tell me all the feedback that I need, because that's the only way I'm going to improve. And that's why I'm hiring a coach, right? Is to continue to improve.
Yes. Otherwise, you can just hire your sister. She'll tell you you're doing everything A-okay. No offense to you sisters out there. Okay, cool. So know your why, read lots of books, level up by getting a coach. And then her 4th one was surround yourself with amazing people. This is like, look to your left, look to your right. If you're not happy in your life, like you got to change the people in it. So what are the types of people that you like to hang out with now? What are you trying to like, what kind of communities are you getting into?
Yeah, so some of that's still a little bit challenging for me because I love to network. We just haven't had a lot of free time right now. But doing like different chambers events, doing different community events. You know, we own a boutique, and so there's different boutique, you know, usually ladies that we're involved in and stuff like that. So those are a few of them. There's a real estate one that we've got involved in too because we are flipping houses. So wide variety of things that we're looking at. Like I said, some of them we're dabbling in, some we need to get more engaged in. So
Love it. But you're kind of, you had to probably first assess that like the community that you're in needs to
Mhm.
get, bossed up a little bit. We need to rise it
Yep.
up, and we got to get into that space, because that's how we grow, right? Like I'm always asking my own coach, I'm like, hey, if I want to reach the next level clients, what room do I need to be in? What gala do I need to attend? What, event do I need to go and have
Yep.
cocktails at? Like you've got to level up your space. And then the last one, so number 5, which is my favorite, it's one of my mottos: work hard, play harder. She said to have fun. So how are you having fun right now? Because you're like, there's no balance in my life. Besides dancing to Footloose and like the house you're flipping, how are you and your partner, your husband, having fun?
That's a great question. We're struggling a little bit on giving ourselves time. We do have a son, so I have a stepson who's 7, and so he brings a lot of levity when he comes over. We play, and stuff like that, which is good. So that's fun. Try to see friends. Going to play alumni volleyball this weekend, which will be fun and interesting. I haven't played for a while, but so trying to do stuff. I feel bad because I haven't been around my friends as much as I'd like to be, my friends and family. But I try to make sure I'm at least engaged with them, and even if it's a quick Snapchat or a text or whatever, just seeing how they're doing and the smiling faces. But no, Dave and I definitely said once this house is done, once we flip this house, we're going to go on a short vacation. It may or may not be with each other. We may need a break from each other. So we'll see.
Bless your heart. I love my husband, but I'm like, he would be my bodyguard, my security, like head of security, and my photographer. He's always like, I'm a glorified videographer in the gym. And I'm like, yes, you are, but you're amazing at it, babe. But like, I could not work alongside him. Like, no way, no how. I love you, babe. But yeah, no. So kudos to you first off for making like that beautiful partnership, because it does take a team to run the ship, especially the type of ship that you're running. So let's quickly dive into what you actually do, because you mentioned this boutique. And then at the very beginning, I kind of let everyone know that we had the next HGTV Star on. So tell us a little bit about what you do and where people can find you and what's next. Like,
Sure.
what's your big vision?
Sure. So we started off with flipping furniture. So we just take old, outdated furniture, we make it beautiful and refreshed again. So if you think about your mom's or your grandma's hutch that it's in the middle, it's in your closet or in your back of your garage. You don't want to get rid of it, but it doesn't match your decor. We can make it pretty again. So we do a lot of that. And then we have a boutique in Waterloo, Nebraska, which is right by Omaha. And so we have our furniture displayed there. And then we also have home decor. And some apparel, but more like just hats and not a whole lot of apparel. Because I'm afraid I'd buy all the clothes if I had them, and then get paint on them. But that's okay. And then we also sell the paint that we use for our products. But one of the things that we really want to do is we want to flip houses. Like that is what our dream is. HGTV is all about where we're going. And so we've been very blessed and recently got an investor that asked us to flip a house for him. So we are doing that right now. So follow us on our Facebook pages, our YouTube pages. We try to do tutorials too to show people how to do stuff. So our goal is to have that house done in the next week and a half. And so that is our goal, is once that one's done, is to continue to flip houses and do more of that, and design is our big goal. So
Wow. Okay. So where do you want to tell people like to go to? Is it the YouTube page? Is it the Facebook page? Like, where can people start to like really fall in love with you and your husband?
I'd say our Facebook page, because that's where you see our personalities too. I mean, our YouTube's on there, but I'd say there's a lot more on our Facebook page. That's probably the forum that I feel the most comfortable with right now. I'm still dabbling in the other ones, but I'm learning. So yeah, I'd say Facebook page.
You guys, seriously. And what was the Facebook link? Do you remember? Or is it just Jodi?
It's Authentically Yours Design. Yep. And we have a VIP page there too that I can put on that page. So that we post a little bit more just of who we are and stuff. So
I love that. Okay, you guys go find her. The links into the, all the different social media sites are down and below. So I am curious, kind of like to wrap up. I know you've given tons of tips already, tons of value, and just your story hopefully inspires lots like it has me. But what would you say like your biggest core value is when it comes to your work? Like, what is your core value? Is it like personal development? Is it commitment? Is it the hustle? What is a core value of yours that you always live by?
So authentic. So that's our business name, right? Authentically Yours. I have it tattooed on my arm too. So being very authentic to who we are. So before we make any decision, is it authentic to us, and it will be authentic for our customers, connecting with them. So I would say that, and hustle and grit. So those are probably our big ones that we live our lives by.
Especially the hustle right now. No, when I think grit, like I'm a gymnast, right? So it's like I still have calluses from back in the day, but like that's the grit. That's what gets you through the hard times. And so when you reach that level of success, you can sit back and you're like, I am so grateful because you literally had to like do all the work. I love that word, that grit, that hungriness. That's definitely something that you have. That's definitely a quality that I saw in you. Absolutely. Any last piece of advice that you would want to leave anyone?
No, thank you for having me on. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. You guys, if you're looking to like boss up that piece of furniture that grandma gave you and you just feel so bad because it's been stuck in the garage, or you're just trying to find like some unique pieces to add to your foyer or, you know, the base, like anything, go to her website, check all that out. Guys, go and follow her. She's literally so funny in her toolbox. Like, I'm like, yes, this woman is awesome. So go follow her and her husband. They are a fantastic dynamite duo there. And Jodi, again, thank you so much for being a fantastic guest.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yes. And you guys, if you are looking to boss up furniture, call Jodi, go check her out. If you are looking to boss up your life, your health, your business, I want to encourage you to book a clarity call with me, or just do yourself a favor and fill out this amazing wellness personality quiz that I've put together. So after you fill out this quiz, it's 2 minutes or less, like literally you have 2 minutes, even if you're sitting on the toilet, you've got 2 minutes to fill this out. You're going to figure out what type of personality you are, right? What type of boss babe you are. And then I guarantee in your inbox, I'm going to deliver you 5 no BS strategies to help you reach those next level goals. So if that sounds like something you're like, oh yes, please, free advice, free ways to help become the best version of me, I want to encourage you to fill out that quiz right now. The link is in below. And as usual, you guys join me next week for another powerful episode of BossUp Babes.
Thank you for listening to BossUp Babes with Karissa Adkins, bringing you tangible tips and expert coaching advice to help you boss up and get healthy. Tune in every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for interviews with industry leaders and powerhouse boss babes that will empower you to take action and live your best life. If you're ready to boss up and work with Karissa in one of her transformative group coaching programs, visit 365dailyhustle.com.